A very good morning to one and all. So, after a successful day one of next 2020, we are here today for the second day of the National Conference on Examination Transformation. If you are not aware, yesterday the day one was attended by over 7,500 people live, and it was a great success. Today we have a very different topics, and we will also be having an interactive session at the end. So I welcome all the YouTube family and those who are joining us from the various social media networks on this conference and are making it a great success. I hand over to Professor Raghavendra to take us further and guide us how we will be proceeding today and learning about the new examination policies. I hand over to Raghavendra sir and I welcome all the guests. Thank you for being present here. Thank you, sir. To you, Raghavendra sir.
Thank you, Mr. Amay, for giving an opportunity to come up with an opening remark for the day two. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we see around a breach of 7,000 plus odd, video viewers in YouTube and social media. It's all because of from your end that you made it happening. And today, to start up before, we would definitely take the blessings and support from our patrons, Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, founder president of Myers Group, and Professor Rahul B. Karad sir, executive president of MIT-WPU University, and we have Sri Y. Raja Reddy sir, chairman of PKM Education Trust Bengaluru, and definitely, this would have been not happened without the cooperation of organization institutes like MIT-WPU University, RR Institute of Advanced Studies, COE India, Zovi Studios, and SkillSlate India. All these came forward so that this conference can make it happen. All right, and I also thank for all the organizing committee members, Dr. Janardhan Shetty sir, Professor Maya Salimat madam, Dr. Jayesh Joglekar, and Dr. Mahesh Gaikwad, who have been very actively involved into this. So with this, today we have a very keynote speakers for the examination refinement in primary and secondary education, distinguished academicians, illuminaries across the world, across India today that we have it. Dr. Nalini Dwarkanath, a former HOD Arts, Jain University, a former counseling psychologist of IIT Bangalore and IIC Bengaluru. Madam, welcome for the day two conference. We will definitely look upon for your expert views on refinement on primary and secondary education. We have another speaker by name called Dr. Hema Kumar sir, Control of Examinations from Government Women's College, Mandya. He is very versatile in nature in discussing about primary and secondary examination reforms. On behalf of the organizing institutions and organizing members, I welcome you, sir, Dr. Hema Kumar sir. Good morning and welcome. And I also welcome Mr. Sunil Luka Chowdhury, a Deputy Controller of Examination from Symbiosis Skills Open University, Pune. He has got a very versatile and dynamic stature of presenting examinations in a very simplified way for the the lower order education system. I also welcome on behalf of the the next 2020. Today, all these speakers will definitely give their thoughts and speak out their minds. All things will be submitted by our honorable the session chair, Dr. Sadashiva Gowda sir. Welcome and good morning to you, sir. Today's summation by you will give certain directions for the benchmarking for the examination refinement for the primary and secondary education, sir. So with this, I request Dr. Mahesh Gaikwad to brief out the bio of the first speaker. Over to you, Dr. Mahesh. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, sir. A very good morning, respected academicians and COEs all over India. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you all for the national level e-conference next 2020, organized by COE India and SkillSlate in association with MIT World Peace University and RR Institute of Advanced Studies. As Professor Raghavendran Venugopal sir said, today's topic for discussion is examination refinement in primary and secondary education. Now I would like to introduce our first speaker of the day, Dr. Nalini Dwarkanath Madam. She is currently working as a principal in MVM College of Science and Management, Bangalore. Dr. Nalini Madam is passionate to contribute to empowerment of young minds through excellence in education and all-round development. She has done PhD in interdisciplinary psychology and education. She is a PCRA National and Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry State Awardee in curriculum development. Dr. Nalini has chaired international, national, and state conferences pertaining to education and psychology. She has written 2 books on child psychology and student development and human psyche, besides a few co-authored and chapters on adolescence and behavioral issues in adolescents and young adults. Besides number of publications in referred journals, books reviewed in current sciences of IISCs. Dr. Nalini Dwarkanath has worked as HOD of Arts in Jain University, counseling psychologist in IIT Bombay and IISc Bangalore. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, madam. Thank you, and over to Dr. Nalini Dwarkanath, madam. Thank you very much. Dr. Nalini Dwarkanath, madam, please, over to you, madam. Hello.
Amay, you may help. Probably she might have some technical snag.
Nalini ma'am, am I audible to you?
Yeah, you are audible for me.
You are audible, sir.
No, actually, Nalini ma'am's mic is mute. She needs to unmute and start the video.
Do as a host, no, you are a host, unmute.
No, I can only request. I cannot start automatically from myself. I can only request her to start from there.
I think there is some technical issue with her.
Nalini ma'am, hello.
Can I call her from my phone?
Sir, again, we may move to the next speaker and I will connect with her if possible.
You give a brief introduction about Dr. Hema Kumar, sir.
Okay, sir. Sorry for the delay. There is some technical difficulty with Dr. Nalini Dwarkanath, madam. So we will move to our next speaker, Dr. Hema Kumar ji. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. Hema Kumar. He is a controller of examinations, head Department of Computer Science and Information Officer, UG and PG Study Center, Government College of Women, Mandya. He has completed his PhD in the year 2007 from Bahariyar University. Dr. Hema Kumar introduced the UGC-sponsored career orientation programs and effectively run the course in Government College for Women, Mandya. He has worked as principal investigator for UGC-sponsored research projects, awarded World Academic Championship 2017 in computer science in speech recognition for outstanding scientific contributions from International Agency for Standards and Ratings. Dr. Hema Kumar is founder of HK Shiksha IAS Academy, Mysore, and guiding for competitive exams aspirants. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, sir. Thank you, and over to Dr. Hema Kumar ji.
Thank you, sir. Sir, shall I start my presentation?
Sure, sir. Sure.
So, thank you for introducing, sir. I'm Dr. Hema Kumar. So, today I am the second speaker, but due to some technical session, the Nalini madam is not. So, Nalini madam, okay, Nalini madam can continue, madam.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the hiccups. The video is not seen. Hello, am I visible?
You are visible and audible, madam. You can start up with your sessions, madam.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry for the small lapse that has happened. Today's presentation, next 2020 examination refinement in primary and secondary education is the talk in the National Education Policy 2020. The brainchild of Professor Raghavendra, COE, I think is what is resulted in today's online conference, national conference. So the path of NEP 2020 started this way. In the year 2011, Project EduVision 2020 was started under the leadership of Professor M.K. Sridhar in Karnataka Knowledge Commission, which was headed by Professor Kasturi Rangan in Bangalore. And in 2005, the work to draft NEP to 2020 was initiated. In 2017, rigorous work of compilation started. And in 2019 May, the policy got submitted in public domain. More than 2 lakhs feedback was received across the public that included educationists, lawyers, political media, parents, teachers from lower, primary, secondary, high, and collegiate sectors. The opinions taken from all these people were carefully scrutinized, and the final draft was made under the leadership of Professor M.K. Sridhar in, I think, Center for Education and Social Studies, an NGO organization in Bangalore. And in 2020 April, the milestone year, NEP, National Education Policy, has been submitted to the center, which was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister on 29th June. So the outline of today's presentation is Education Policies of India and the Making of NEP 2020, which I have already shared, salient features of NEP 2020, restructuring of school education, psychological perspectives in primary and secondary education, examination refinement in primary and secondary education, and the focus and emphasis on literacy, numeracy, and vocational learning, 3-language and multilinguistic learning, special language education, that is the inclusive education, to help everyone to pick up the sign language so that the children who are challenged will also be helped along with other students in the mainstream. Stress on strengthening the teacher education, which is very important. Uniform systemic approach in both government and private institutions. Dropouts to bring to mainstream. Infrastructure optimum usage. Infrastructure of schools optimum usage. Examination refinement, assessment through NTA, levels of examinations and report cards. All these things will be in this in today's presentation. And from today's team comprises of 3 of us, and each one of us will be focusing on different aspects, which I think will give an extensive understanding of primary and secondary education as envisaged in National Education Policy 2020. See, the education policies of India was brought in first. The first policy was brought during Srimati Indira Gandhi's prime ministership under Kothari Commission in 1968. The second was drafted during Rajiv Gandhi's tenureship in 1986. Thereafter, in 1992, during Sri Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh's prime ministership, policy in educations were made, and minor changes were made in policies in technical education, and good changes in professional colleges entrance exams we could see. Then after,
sorry to interrupt, are you sharing your screen, because it's not visible if you are sharing your screen?
I'm not, my slides are not visible, is it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you need to share your screen again.
One second. All this time also was it not shared? 1 second.
No, madam, it was not shared. It was not shared.
Okay. 1 second, I'll just make it, sir. Is it okay now?
No, madam.
Hello?
Now
No, is it?
visible.
Now it, okay. Now it's okay. Okay, sir. I'll just continue.
Ma'am, please make it full screen in the slideshow view. Please make it full screen.
Pa
Yeah.
Pardon?
Perfect, ma'am. Perfect. Yes, you can continue.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. So, yes, I was here. And now, after 34 years, the National Education Policy 2020 has been drafted with holistic and inclusive education as focus under the leadership of Professor Kasturi Rangan. The team was headed by Professor M.K. Sridhar in Bangalore. The salient features of NEP, it has 4 compartments. First, school education. The focus next is on higher education. Then other areas to focus like the polytechnic, vocational, and the things like that. Now that we are in they are in the 4th stage, that is the implementation, making it happen. And focus of my discussion would be on primary and secondary education. So the psychological perspectives in primary and secondary education. Yesterday itself, Professor Shastri had very rightly said that National Education Policy has taken care in its framework to see that children should run to the school and walk back home. And to make the learning process fun, the NEP has focused on avoiding rote learning and to encourage the children to learn at their own pace and give them the space to increase their knowledge, understanding, and creativity. Learning-based continuous assessment is being given a primary focus, intense focus rather. To achieve this, the exams and marks-oriented evaluation is abolished and the focus is laid on continuous learning, improvement-based comprehensive assessment system from day 1 of the child entering the learning portal, keeping in mind the objective of reaching the learning outcome goals at the end of each grade. So joyful learning is the key aspect. As I already said, to make the saying running to school and walking back home a reality, activity-based curriculum, playway method of teaching, interactive and participative approach in the classroom to curriculum as will be drafted by NCERT Delhi, which will encourage the creativity and cognitive enhancement thinking, not just the rote learning or just the copying of what already is existing. Learning is at individual space and rote learning is abolished. Vocational training at middle school level, paving way for entrepreneurship. Experiential learning is very much encouraged. 10 days of no bags, internship with local skilled professionals as such, like gardening, carpentry, and electric works, things like that. This, I think the students will be encouraged to go and learn these skill-based small works, which will help them when they come out of the school with some kind of skills that they can pursue. Rather, it will be a great help to for them itself to do the small repair works in their own home, which probably may give them a place for them to develop in later years. Focus on developing adequate literacy and numeracy by the end of primary education. See, when all these drafts were going on, when when people were interviewed, see, very many schools, in government schools also, we could see that the children were not able to adequately do the small addition, subtraction, things like that. So that really gave it was a big concern rather. So now the focus is very much given to help them develop good literacy and numeracy skills from the early education itself. Now, approach to primary and secondary education is tripartite. That is active participation of all the 3 stakeholders of education. Parents are also involved, teachers are also involved, it is now rather student-centric learning is given importance. That is to make the students take the responsibility of what they want to learn, how they have to learn, and what level they should achieve. That onus, if that is helped to develop, there will be the pressure of on parents to tell them, go, this is time for study, go sit and study, and always pushing them to school or pushing them to study or to do this and that. Even till today also, there are very many parents who come and complain, my child is not listening to me. I have great trouble in making my child sit and learn. I think all these things will eventually get addressed when it is going to be an active participatory learning centric teaching at the primary level, which involves the parents, the teachers, and the students. Adequate training and certification to Anganwadi teachers will be designed. For them, the 6 months of certification initially and the next 6 months of advanced training will also be given. And it is said that female teachers will be encouraged more at foundation and primary school level. And course selection at secondary level of 9th and 10th is envisaged. Freedom to choose across multidisciplines is also in the plan. Holistic development is the key in the NEP 2020. And restructuring of education system. Earlier, the school education comprised of 10 plus 2 years. Now, NEP 2020 talks of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 years of primary, middle, and secondary school education. This is done to assess the learning level at each level and take remedial measures. That is, instead of allowing the child to cross up to 8th level or something and then suddenly waking up to see that my child is not even able to do small addition or subtraction or doesn't even know the basics of either the English language or the other regional or any other language. At each level, the child's learning can be tested and accordingly remedial measures can be given. Is the focus why this has been compartmentalized like this. 5 years foundation stage is early child care and education. Why is the child care? Because the child's it's not only the academic learning, but the child hands is social and psychological, especially the emotional aspects. For that, this early child care is given more emphasis, and that is where the Anganwadi teachers will be given adequate training in handling the children according to their mental age, taking care of their psychological and emotional aspects. So this 5 years comprises of 3 years Anganwadi, which is pre-KG, LKG and UKG, and at primary level 1 and 2. Curriculum will be designed by NCERT. The approach, as I already said, playway and activity-based learning. Yes, tripartite approach, student learning centric will be paid utmost attention. All stakeholders, parents, teachers, and students will participate actively. And primary education, the pre-preparatory 3 years, primary, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades. Here, the focus will be very much on literacy and numeracy learning for already what I have explained. State exam at school level will be conducted at primary 3rd grade level. Till then, it will be continuous assessment will be done. No exams till third grade. And the target is to achieve all children enrollment by the year 2030. And it is planned to have the teacher-student ratio at the minimum of 30:1 or if possible 25:1. So wherever there are no schools in remote areas, in rural and urban areas, now the focus will also be given on developing infrastructure, good infrastructure to see that the children go to the school from nearby schools. So adequate schools will also be developed. That is also in the plan of NEP. And healthcare. Besides education, healthcare is also very important. The children should also be given nutritious food. So plans are also made to see that they have good adequate nutrition. Now they are giving midday meals. It looks that the students will also be getting from breakfast itself, and what kind of nutrition and what kind of good food they should be given. Besides the food part of it, the hygiene, how to maintain hygiene both at home and personal hygiene, social hygiene, all these things I think are going to be the part of the healthcare. And healthcare card will be maintained for each student from the Anganwadi day one itself. So, and also digital library seems to be planned in the school, so that all the schools are very well equipped, not only with the books, also to see that online learning is also be made is also helped for all the children, even in rural. I remember that now Google is also pitching in to help set up the digital education in remote areas. Hope that will also come as early as possible. So target is to achieve good literacy and numeracy in 5 years from primary 1 to 5. Now, focus is on dropouts and inclusive education. The dropouts, for some reason, if the children are have dropped out, for reasons, maybe it can be economic reasons at home or some social, whatever be the reason, they would be helped to attain literacy through open schooling and distance education mode. The idea is to see that the 100% literacy is achieved at the primary level. And the next is research proves that 80% multilingual learning capacity in children. So 3-language formula is also planned. Learning in first 5 years will compulsorily be through mother tongue or the regional language. And if it desired, it can continue up to 6, 7, 8 also is in the plan. English, why everybody is asking what about English to my child. So it is said that it can be brought in as one of the 3 languages, whatever level that the states can decide. Now the next is middle school, the 3 years, 6, 7, and 8 grades. Here, the emphasis is on experimental learning. This is where the vocational education gets introduced from 6th grade. As I already just outlined, 10 back days internship to work with local skilled professionals as carpentry or the electrician or the plumber or anything, whatever the child is interested in, they will be asked to go and work for 10 days and present whatever they're learning in the maybe a small project or something like that. Exposure to vocational learning will help to increase their practical knowledge in that aspect. So this vocational education can be planned to suit whatever is available locally. So the local skillship can be tapped, and that would really go a long way to help them develop entrepreneurship and to set up small industries in their own place. And nation will move from service based economy to product based economy by this. And it is now technology is also taken care. Coding also is planned to be taught from 6th grade to equip the students with technology learning. And 3-language formula will be introduced at this middle school level. Autonomy is given to the states to choose the languages among the prevailing Asian languages. And for all this, comprehensive report will be given covering curricular, co-curricular, and sports domains. I think the subsequent speakers will give extensive information on this. Now, language learning to focus on medium of instruction up to 5th grade, and beyond that will be either mother tongue or local language. Why it is so is, belief is that effective learning can happen only through mother and regional language. It is because at home, whatever the language is spoken is the first language that the child gets exposed. And if it is given some other language to study, where coming back home, the child finds it difficult to either get to ask for any doubts or anything. These are the practical difficulties that we have been facing, and the child neither is able to get mastery in his or its own mother tongue or the regional language or the language that it studies normally, the medium of instruction. If it is English, though the rural people love to send their child, my child is also going to convent, my child is also going to study in English, but effective learning is really taking a big jolt there. And so to address that, to address the creative thinking, to encourage the creative thinking, it is made compulsory that the first 5 years of learning will definitely be in mother tongue. This I heard Professor Sridhar sharing that it is, see, wherever the state schools are there, like, in our India, we have got different streams of education, like CBSE, we have All India School Examinations, we have. So those things will not be touched is what, if my understanding goes, will not be touched is what is said. Wherever it is possible, this kind of 3-language formula, the mother tongue, through mother tongue should be given is what NEP envisages. And this I've already shared. And so children will learn 3 languages, 2 Indian and 1 Asian among the Asian languages. Now to talk about high school education, which is 9, 10 and 11 grade. Here the children get major subjects to be chosen at 9th and 10th grade. Here comes the multidisciplinary aspect. So they have the autonomy to choose from arts, science, commerce, and management. The child who is studying mother literature can also opt for economics or commerce subject, whatever, or a science subject. So now across disciplines, the child is given the freedom to choose at the school level itself. So the basic thing starts then. That will pave way for it is as a bridge to the collegiate education. So comprehensive again report will be given on all the aspects of curricular, co-curricular and sports, in addition to the health card, which I've already said in detail. And secondary education, that is 6, 7, 8 is going to be multidisciplinary. Students, I've said about that. Rote learning will be eradicated. Curriculum will be redesigned to increase application-oriented core subject knowledge. Comprehensive report will be given at the end of each year. And to recap, refinement in examination at primary and secondary level, the focus will be on developing adequate numeracy and literacy skills. No examination in the first 5 years, that is that 3 years of Anganwadi plus primary 1 and 2. Only at the primary third, that is pre-preparatory school level, when the child comes, at the third grade, the child will be tested. And I think that test will be at state level. The schools will be given, at school level it will be conducted. Thereafter, the next exam will be in the year 6, that is when the child goes to the secondary education, 6, 7, 8. So when the child comes to pre-preparatory stage, that is at the third grade, and once the 3, 4, 5 is completed, when the child steps into the secondary grade, that is 6, 7, 8, at 6th standard, there is one common exam. And the next exam is going to be at 8th, when the child completes the secondary education. So secondary education has 2 common exams, one in 6th grade and another one is in 8th grade. Then thereafter, the 9th and 10th, that is high school level. At the 10th year, the child is expected to take the common public exam. So till then, continuous and comprehensive assessment will be in place, and report card will cover all the aspects of the curriculum, co-curriculum, the sports, that the skills attainment, to what level the child has developed. It is not marks focused, but the skills attainment of the child, it will be graded. Health card will also be maintained to care for the nutritional aspect. And earlier public exam system was held in 10th and 12th. Now NEP 2020 talks of state level common exams. As I already said, 3rd, 5th and 8th grades at school level. Common public exams at national level will be held at 10th and 12th grades. And these exams are supposed to be held through national test agencies. The pattern of exam will be to test more on the knowledge, intelligence, and understanding than to focus on marks. Here comes the psychological aspects that the education system wants to focus on, not giving pressure to learn, but to enjoy the learning. And government and private schools will have the same system of education. Quality of teacher education will be given at most importance. Teacher training is going to take a big different turn, it looks like that. And openness in teaching will be ensured. Infrastructure development will also be focused on priority. And the school hours, campus is planned to be used for adult learning. So this is out. What my presentation talks about as far as primary and secondary education is concerned. I thank Professor Raghavendra and the team of COE for the opportunity given. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for such an informative session in relation with National Examination Policy 2020. Now, I would like to introduce our next speaker of this day, Dr. Hema Kumar Ji. Dr. Hema Kumar is Controller of Examinations, Head Department of Computer Science and Information Officer, UG and PG Study Center, Government College of Women, Mandya. He has completed his PhD in the year 2007 from Bharatiyar University. Dr. Hema Kumar introduced the UGC-sponsored career orientation programs and effectively ruined course in Government College for Women, Mandya. He has worked as principal investigator for UGC-sponsored research projects, awarded World Academic Championship 2017 in Computer Science in speech recognition for outstanding scientific contribution from International Agency for Standards and Ratings. Dr. Hema Kumar is founder of HK Shiksha IAS Academy, Mysore, and guiding for competitive exam aspirants. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, sir. Thank you. And over to Dr. Hema Kumar Ji. Welcome, sir.
So thank you, sir. Thank you for introduction, sir. So very good morning to all the academicians. Very good morning to all the academicians and the COEs of the various institutions. Today's topic is that the next 2020, the National Examination Transformation 2020. The new educational policy has came here. The new educational policy, the examination needs more important role, has to make it more important. So in this recording, I'll be speaking at 11 points. So what the reformation need to be done. So actually this talk is the continuation of the Nalini Madam's talk. So what the Madam has talked for the examination, from there I'll be going to continue. Before continuing the examination, I would like to give some statistics of educational statistics, one glance, just for a glance, which has been given by M.H. Harding, the Government of India. So in primary school, from 1st grade to 5th grade, that totally the enrollments is 1,29,123 in thousands. I'm speaking in thousands. The enrollment is 1,29,123. And to cater these students, there are number of schools are 8,40,546. And number of teachers who are working in these schools are 26,06,120. And if you go for the upper primary, that is grade 6 to 8, the total enrollment in thousands is 67,594. And the number of schools are 4,29,624. The number of teachers who are working in those schools are 26,12,347. And if you observe in a secondary school, that is a 9th and 10th grade, the total enrollment in thousands are 39,145. And number of schools are 1,39,539. The number of teachers who are working here is 14,31,591. If you go for the senior secondary, 11th and 12th, the total enrollment in thousands are 24,735. And number of schools here is 1,12,637. And the teachers who are working here is 20,41,800. What the madam has told that there is a lot of the dropouts are there from primary to secondary education. And in India, there is a constitution has made that the compulsory education till the 14 years, the age from the 6 to 14 is a compulsory education. But still, the lot of drawbacks and outcome has not there. So a lot of students are getting out of the schools. And among this, from primary to secondary school, there are overall teachers who are working is 86,91,922 teachers who are working for the betterment of the children. So in our country, the national goals are achieved through the educational policies and education system. So all the policies need to be done good means all the teachers have to transform their educational and transfer their system to a new educational system. Because the new educational system came because in the rapid growth in the technology, where the more skill is required from a students to educate the institution, the educational institution should produce the educated to cope the modern technological advancements or developments, and he has to compete with the modern world. So compete with those world, the who we call as the stakeholders, the students, parents, institutions, industries, or faculties and government, everything should work properly. Otherwise, the educational institutions can affect or the objectives of educational policies made by the government may be changed or affected. Hence, we have to try to understand the changes which are the reforms need to be taken in an examination pattern. So in a new education policy, the examination pattern has to be changed. The first point is that examination grades 1 to 8, there is a changes. So already madam has told that the grade 1 and grade 2, there will be no examination, but there should be an assessment. There is an assessment. So foundational course is also having an assessment. I will be speaking what is assessment and how this assessment has to be done. The key stage here is the sensor assessment at the key stage is the class 3, 5 and 8 to track the achievement. The class 3 and class 5 and class 8, there will be central board who conduct the examinations for the assessment of the achievement of the student in that particular courses. So in this new policy, the main aim is to move away from rote learning. That means the student has to come to educational institution to learn or assessment of the core concepts and knowledge and attain in higher order skills and its application in a real life situations. Hence, from this, the student or a learner can move away from the rote learning and he can concentrate for the higher order of skills. So in this level of higher order of learning, the achievement of a critical learning outcomes will come. This critical achievement outcome learning is that the testing to focus on achievement of essential learning outcomes. So the results of school examination should be used only for the developmental purpose of an institution or for the continuous monitoring and improvement of the school system. So the examination is done only for the essentiality of the learning outcomes. What the learning outcome shall make it easy to check for the understanding and learning achieved by our students, both in a classroom as well as the out of the classroom. What he can do in the out of the classroom, and the student performance at a higher level and can become more self-guided through a learning outcome. With this intended learning outcome at the hands of the teachers, there's everything under the hands of the teachers, as the teachers have to plan their teaching and learning strategies to support the attainment of the outcomes. Because the teachers are there are 86,91,922 teachers. Every teachers need to plan properly to make the learning essentials. So outcome should be very good. So for that, assessment and evaluation is required. For every state, there is an assessment and evaluation. So what is an assessment? The assessment is a process of gathering data to measure a degree of attainment of a course goal. The course in a new education is the 5, 3, +3, and 4. During this 5 years, 3 years, and 3 years, and 4 years, what actually the student is gaining. What is an assignment assessment has been done. The assessment techniques need to be followed according to the goal achievement. These goals are achieved, for example, testing assessment like class tests, quiz assignments, oral test, term papers, oral presentation, case studies, lab reports, practicals, and theory exams. You can conduct all those things to assess the student. After assessing, then the evaluation process comes. This evaluation is a quantization of a student. It is nothing but a quantification of a student of a competence based on the evidence or data collected through an assessment. So evaluation is the quantification of a student's attainment level. So the results, the evaluation is at the end is a result. The evaluation is done under certain criteria and norms. So there should be a certain criteria and norms all the teachers similarly has to follow. So they cannot use different categories or different norms. There should be normal categories, criteria, which will be declared by the NCRTs. So evaluation is the end, while the assessment are the means. The assessment is a process, is like a process, is a continuous process, and evaluation is nothing but a quantification of collected data. You have to give the collected data. In the new educational system, there is a transformation of a culture of assessment. They have clearly mentioned that in a new policy, there should be a transformation of an assessment, not an evaluation. First, go with an assessment. The assessment should be done in a continuous tracking of a learner or a student for a learning outcome of each and every children in each and every stage. For that, the board exams should be more flexible with an assessment of essential skills. So assessment to focus on core concept, only on the core concept, and get a higher order and foundational skills. Just assess about what the foundational skills as learned by a child. So that for doing a continuous assessment, we have to adopt an artificial intelligence based software to help or tracking the progress of the student to enable them to make an optimal career choice. To build the careers, we have to guide properly so that this augmented reality or an artificial intelligence based software will help the teacher to make the students move in a better path. So selecting the proper channel of proper education. So National Assessment Center will help in bringing the great synergy in a board exams conducted by various boards of assessment. In this assessment, we have to provide the self-assessment and there should be a peer assessment. So assessment cannot be done only a teacher. There should be a self-assessment and a peer assessment. And for this, the National Testing Agency shall work to offer a high quality common aptitude test to eliminate the need for the tracking of the coaching centers for examinations. We should not make the coaching centers to pro. We have to make the education system in school itself, in institution itself. So 3rd, 5th, and the 8th level, there is a central examination, means the child should not go for the tuition centers. The children should be guided in the schools itself. So when you assess that there is a transformation of assessment, when there is a transformation of assessment, you try to describe the student's performance, how the student is performing. The performance describe what the student is expected to be able to do, to demonstrate his mastery over the content. The performance is like that, is the main intent of the objective directly. The performance may be explicit, where it can be really a seen or an heard. We can see it or you can listen it. So that is a performance, what the student is doing. You have to assess that particular thing also. You have to describe those things also. Because no children or nobody is an unintelligent. Everybody is an intelligent. But we have to make the student to grow in a proper, select a proper subjects and proper courses to build a proper career. So performance may be a covered, it not be a visible performance. Such performance often describes something a learner can be instead of something the learner can do. The covered performance need to be continuously modified until it becomes a specific statement of doing words. So after this assessment or performance description, every teacher has to do the evaluation techniques. So there are certain tools, and already all teachers are doing this, but still in the new educational policy also we have to go all those evaluation. The first evaluation is the oral test. They conduct the oral test and think that the student may not tell in the front of a teacher. He can fear, but he can. There is a self-assessment also has been provided. So still the teacher is also finally asked to make an assessment. So for the final assessment, the teacher need to make an oral test. After the oral test, the written test need to be done. The written test, that for each and every student has to go through all this type of the test. Pass through an essay type of test, objective type of test, short answer type of test, content written test, long answer type of test, and multiple choice and matching type of test, and true or false or alternative choices. Finally, you have to give the questions like an open-ended questions. It should be an open-ended. The answer is not available in any textbooks. Even the child can think. Let the child think, and whatever the incorporate in his mind, inside his brain, let us put in his own words. Like that of test, we have to give an open-ended questions. If this is the technique we have to done from 1 to 8, but in a new education policy, the reformation examination in a grade 9 to 12 has also been changing. From the 9 to 12, it has to be start. The reformation starts begin with the mathematics and all the subjects which are offered at the 2 levels. All these subjects contains in standards throughout the national standards and norms and guidance for the school boards through a Prakasha national centers. Each school board shall ensure the equivalence of academic standards in learner attainment. It is very, very important that each and every school board shall ensure the equivalence of academic standards in a learner attainment. So the government of India has given the date for all the teachers to prepare for the transformation of in an assessment system within the academic year 2022 to 23, where this new education policy will be adopted for the grade 9 to 12. So all the teachers who are working in a secondary educational system, the teachers has to prepare, has to transfer their mode for the assessment like this. The board exams will be made easy as they will test primarily core and capacities and competence. There should be an assessment system for the testing the primary core and capacity and competence of each student. While evaluating in a examination reformation, there has mentioned that the exploration, various mode of exploration, like an annual system, annual exams, semester exam, and modular exam, are like an unit test exams. So in each and every examinations, there should be a two-part of exams, the two-part of question papers that should contain objective type as well as a descriptive type. Those guidelines, the question paper pattern, the guidelines will be prepared by the NCERT and with the consultants of the state SCERT and the different board of assessments and precautions. So while assessing in a new examination system, each and every teacher has to go for test and evaluate the cognition domain test in each and every student. This cognitive domaining is just checking your knowledge or remembrance. It is nothing but a recalling capacity of the student, the remembering previous learned materials, and the comprehensive understanding capacity. That is an ability to grasp the meaning of materials. And the application use a concept in a new situations. The analysis, the ability to break down the materials into its component parts so that its organizational structure may be understood. So after analysis, application analysis, there should be a synthesis. That's the ability to build a structure or a pattern for diverse elements, put part together to form a whole with emphasis on creating a new meaning or a structure. Whatever he has learned, according to those particular knowledge, he has an ability to create a structure, new structure or a new build. So after only each and every teacher have to go for an evaluation. The evaluation, the student make decisions based on the in-depth reflections or criticism and assessment. So make the judgment about the values of ideas or the materials. Each and every student must and should have an idea of making a judgment about the values of ideas or the materials. This is what the cognitive test we have to do. To test the action skills of each and every student. Because already I said that no child is an unintelligent. Each and every child is an intelligence. So you can express the things. So you can do an action and you can express all the things. So you have to test for the psychometric domain. The psychometric domain include the physical movement and coordination and use of the motor skill areas. So it requires a lot of practice. Without the practice, no student can do it. So for every learning, the teacher has to train each and every student to increase his psychometrics domain knowledge. So teachers has to test this knowledge also in a new education policy. So this psychometric domain training has to make the students naturalization in higher level of psychometric domains, followed by an articulation or precision, manipulation, or an imitation in a lower order of domain. So listen that the students will grow only by imitating others. It's just like copying something who are doing the things. The imitation is nothing but an observing and pattern behavior after someone else has done. The performance may be a low quality. Whatever he has copied or observed and done, it may be a lower quality. Nothing to worry. But they should be included repeating an act that has been demonstrated or included a trial and error until an appropriate response is achieved. This trial and error will make the lot of practice in a student, and the student will be done in a naturalization. Like an example, try to operate an equipment by observing someone else. So observing, continuous observing, you can imitate that person. So that quality has to be done. After imitating, you have to manipulate. The manipulation is that being able to perform certain actions by following instructions and practicing until it becomes habitual. It should become habitual. So learner still is not sure about himself or herself. He can no. So there should be a proper supporting. So you have to motivate them to manipulate and improve themselves. So this type of trying to operate an equipment on an own, after taking a lessons or reading it, it has to cultivate. After manipulation, there should be a precision. The precision is that the proficiency. The child should become a proficiency in indicating a quick, smooth, and accurate performance requiring a minimum energy. So few errors may appear, nothing to worry, but very shortly can adopt because it has become an habitual. For an example, working or reworking something is just right, you can do it. So in a new educational policy came because there is a tremendous change in the world. There is a tremendous change in the technological world, computational world. Each and every student, we have to make that to capacity in building a top in this competitive world. So each and every teacher has to go within a psychometric domain testing of each and every student. After the psychometric, this teacher even required an affective domain, which involves the feelings and attitudes of a student, how the student behaves in certain cases, how the attitude of a student. First, we have to make that person attitude to improve. This evaluation is to be required. Only not the curriculum training is not required here. If the curriculum change or environment change, the student has to survive everywhere. If he goes everywhere, he has to survive. So for that, we have to test in each and every stage the affective domains. In an affective domain, there is an articulation is required. That articulation is that the coordinating a series of actions, achieved harmonies and internal consistency, involving an higher level of precision. The skills are so well developed that the individual can modify the movement patterns to fit the special requirement or to meet a problem situations. For examples, using certain acute skill required fully, equipments which are fully skill required. If you go for an European country, you have learned that. So, 4th standard student or 10th year age student, he has done a very good, wonderful coding. Why they did? They did because it has been trained like that. So we shall also train the child in all the aspects. So while training, while testing an affirmative domain, there should be a naturalization. There should not be an artificial. There should be a naturalization. The high level performance should be become a natural without needing to think much of it. Response is automatically should come. So for example, the equipment without thinking, even in a novel way, the child should ready to work with those things. Very simple. If you start riding a vehicle, you can ride any vehicle. If you become an expert in like that, if a student is expert in any domain, for example, if he is expert in a physics, he can understand whatever the syllabus or whatever the formulas has inculcated in those things. Like that, we have to train. So after all these three training, we have to design a new progress card, which should be holistic. In a new educational policy, there is a requirement, there is a necessary to design a holistic type of a progress card, where all the states and union territories to redesign their progress card in a school level to make the holistic 360-degree multi-dimensional reports. It should be in a multi-dimensional. The progress card shall include self-assessment, peer assessment, and finally the teacher assessment in each and every course. So in the card, the progress card, it should reflect, if anybody opens a particular progress card, it should reflect the progress and uniqueness of learning in the cognition domain of a child and affirmative domain of a child and emotional and psychometric domain. It should display, it should reflect everything of the child. Like that, we have to design our new progress card. The progress card is a projected based and inquiry based learning should be done. The quiz, role play, group work, portfolio, song, like that. It should cover everything, even health, sports, everything it has to be covered. It should be included in a report card. This new report card should actually involve parents in their children's education and developments. So this type of progress card can be designed using a growing technologies like an artificial intelligence based software to develop to help the track growth through a school years and to help the students make optimal career choice. So I would like to thank for all the participants and the organizers to present my few thoughts in this national level e-conference. So thank you, Raghavendra sir. So next speaker will continue. The next is thoughts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for the analytical information on assessment. Moving forward, our next speaker of this day is Mr. Sunil Chaudhary. Mr. Sunil Chaudhary is working as a Deputy Controller of Examinations, Symbiosis Skills and Professional University, Pune. He is pursuing PhD from Center for Materials for the Electronics Technology Recognized Research Institute under SPPU, Pune. Title of the proposed research work is Investigations on Ferrite-based RF and microwave passive components integrated in low temperature co-fired ceramics, LTCC. Mr. Sunil Chaudhary has research experience as a research project staff in CMET, Pune on the sponsored project Technology Demonstration of Multi-Layer LTCC Packages for MEMS applications. Sir has 14 plus years of experience in the field of education. He has worked on various administrative positions like college examination officers, head of department, etc. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, sir. Thank you, and over to Mr. Sunil Chaudhary, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. Am I visible? Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Good morning
sir,
to one and all. Good morning to one and all. Hello.
A very good morning to you, sir. A very good morning to you. We are excited to hear.
Thank you, Dr. Mahesh, for introducing me. I'm very much thankful to the organizers for providing this platform to present whatever the knowledge I do have about the examinations and refinements in that. So secondly, the most important is that Dr. Nalini Madam as well as Dr. Hema Kumar sir has covered up most of the content very nicely. As per the new education policy, whatever the refinements are there, they are going to. Hello. So I will share my screen here. Amia?
Yes, sir. Please share your screen.
So basically, myself Sunil from Symbiosis Skills and the Professional University, Pune. I'm working here as a Deputy COE. Today, my topic in this national conference is examination refinement in primary and secondary education. Basically, see, all of us are nowadays facing this new policy. Facing in the sense we have to implement this policy with its content as per considering the requirements, as per the considering the situation, or kind of requirement by the stakeholders of this education system, particularly the teachers, parents, and students all. So here today in this presentation, I will be trying to cover the basic teaching, learning, and evaluation, the skeleton of the process of education. In short, because already Madam and Sir has briefed about it. Secondly, the education transition from primary to secondary and related refinements I can include into that. Next to that, the school's curriculum package mapping with the new education policy. So apart from that, various aspects, then evaluation of the student based on the skill, quality of examination, etc. So with this, let us start with, I will start with my first slide, that teaching, learning, evaluation. You can see this structure, you consider this as a skeleton. This is the skeleton, basically all of you know that it is the process where after the enrollment of the student to a particular class, the student is passing through this skeleton. The teachers are teaching the student, then students are learning as per their capabilities and trying to grasp the knowledge. Secondly, during the entire academics of the student, the various kind of curriculums, depending on their subject, depending on their pedagogies, they are learning. And then at the end of this process, there is an evaluation. We call it as an examination. So this evaluation of the student can be done in various ways. As in mapping with the current new education policy, or maybe before that, you can map with that. The evaluation of a student is nothing but the process where you are evaluating somehow the syllabus that you have taught to the student based on his learning capabilities. If you see, there are three different categories of the student. Basically, there are in any class, if you take any class taking from the primary education to higher education, in any class there are basically three categories. Out of that, the first category is a slow learner students. So basing on depending on the learning capabilities of that student, the student can be a slow learner because of some lack of prerequisites. Secondly, there is a group we generally call it as an average learner, and then we call it finally as fast learner. So average learner is the learner or the student who has a little bit prerequisites with him. He has its own few capabilities developed, and he is trying to go to the highest level. That is a fast learner level. So this is what average learner student and the fast learner student are. Basically, there are in the class, depending on a type of school, the number of fast learner student in that class makes a difference. Basically, all of us know in education system, specifically for primary and secondary education system, there are three categories of the schools we generally see. There is one, government schools. Basically, under government school, there can be a centrally funded school, there can be state government funded, and there can be a corporation funded school. So in government school, then there is next cadre which is semi-government school, and then next cadre is private school. So considering all these cadres, the number or the composition of these three category of the students is different. So considering that, as per the new education policy, there is a room for refinement based on the schools, right? So basically, fast learner school, we generally see various aspects in all these kind of students at different levels. Basically, in education transition, we can see a student with an intellectual capabilities. So basically, if you see the student when he perform in the class, this is the main aspect that we can see and accordingly train the student. Basically, students have opportunities to be very curious, and his thinking capabilities are quite extended, and they are always ready to accept the challenge. Then there is a physical parameter that students need to be physically trained. They should be made physically active. As far as the exams are concerned, before the exam, they have to be trained by considering all these aspects. So the next is social aspect. The students are socially very interesting. Like you take any example, like any activity you want to perform, irrespective of anything, the students are quite active. Instead of writing or listening, they are active in doing some projects and all. So social activities, like in societies, if you have some program to involve in that and all, so such kind of activities you can take into this, and you should consider while training them in the class, all these activities, or to develop a culture of the student in a diversified society. You can do this aspect. Students are quite emotional and psychological. If I talk, basically, if I talk in the capacity of a parent, no, my son is in the 5th standard. Believe me, when I start, I will come to the first part of the intellectualness. During this pandemic situation in my house, when work from home, we started our meeting. I started using Zoom in the month of March first time, right? So when I started using Zoom, parallelly in my school, from his from my school, from his teacher, and their school promoted this activity, online teaching, with the help of Zoom. We both started using Zoom parallelly, right? Believe me, he was quite effective to use the Zoom than me. I do not shy to say this, because the intellectualness, curiousness of that of my son is quite higher than me. Okay, and not only my case. If I talk, as I said, if I talk in capacity of the parent, here I hope some, along with the academicians, examiners, there are some parents also attending, or all the examiners in the capacity of parents. You can understand this. So these are the aspects where we should understand the students and their capabilities. So this is before the exam I'm talking about, right? All these aspects need to be developed. So finally, as I said, the moral, after the emotional and psychological, students are morally quite comfortable. So these are the way, this is the aspect by which we can ask the students to participate in such kind of innovative, critical, or even decision making kind of assignments, or part of teaching, learning. So this is what basically the transition, where you can see basically it is from primary to secondary. Mainly you can observe that students are doing it. Before I go to the next kind of example or the sample which I am supposed to show you, let me tell you the mapping. What is basically mapping? Madam Nalini Madam, as well as Hema Kumar sir, has briefly already explained the new policy which is about to come, and already it is initiated. So where there is a need of mapping of the schools. As today I'm talking for primary and secondary, the schools particularly, there is a need of mapping school as well as their curriculum. If we see the across all the country, there are various, as I already said, the school types. The way the curriculum is executed there, the way teachers are trained there, the students taught there. Considering all this, now when new policy is coming, before mapping, it is mandatory for everyone. See, education is not dependent on the school, whether it is private, government, or partially, right? The education is education, and after that, examination is examination. So irrespective of these boards or the schools, I will say the new structure need to be executed by taking into the pedagogies of each of the schools and curriculum, right? So curriculum can be of different types. Nowadays, we generally see up to the primary school, the CBSE and state board syllabus was set. Okay, so if you go for the state board, apart from languages, some other content and the level of the syllabus depth is changing for all these three type of curriculum: the state board, CBSE board, ICSE board, or maybe any standard international boards. So where there is a variation in that. So it is my kind request to all the stakeholders. There may be a school owners, there may be a school teachers, there may be a parents, there may be a students. So all of you are requested that you should take it as an education and do it as an examination, irrespective of your school. As all of you know that not necessarily that government school students are not going to the higher level, or maybe studying in the private level school students are not going to the lower level of gaining the knowledge. Okay, so considering this mapping is very important. So all of the teachers, stakeholders are need to be trained for this kind of implementation of this new policy. Now come to this point where the refinement actually comes. I think all of you can see this picture where there is one question written in the back and there are animals. You can see, just see the picture. There is an assignment to climb on the tree. See, as I said, once again I'm telling, there are 3 cadets. All these 3 cadet students need to be evaluated. They need to be trained in that way. So if it is a slow learner, as I said, it should be trained a little bit more by bridge course or maybe a remedial classes of so kind, etc. Right? So if you are taking all these students, your examination should be of giving them justice. For example, if you take this picture and the question is like, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. So now all of you just check how many of these will be able to properly give this exam. Right. So there is one animal who can easily do this. But the way the examination is conducted is not fair. It is not giving the justice. So I'm giving you some example, like if you take any school student, the student may be not comfortable in writing. He has very good knowledge. He has very good communication skills. He is a very good representative, right? But he is not able to write in the examination. His writing capabilities are poor. So in such a scenario, the method of evaluation should have a composition of all these kind of aspects. I'll go into details of that. All the kind of formative assessment, those can be proposed and those can be get executed for overcoming such kind of problems. So in that case, that student should be evaluated with the oral viva, as Dr. Hema Kumar has already raised his concern about it, that they should be trained according to their skills. So skill-based evaluation is the most important aspect. So if any student may be not writing, just have another parameter in your formative evaluation, that there can be a oral testing, there can be a skill testing, there can be activity-based learning. If some students are writing but not able to represent, give them some kind of report, article writing or something. Maybe a secondary school it is possible. I don't consider primary in that. So such kind of evaluation has to be there. There should be a justice to each student in the class. Considering this all, there is a room for refinement in the education system. And I may speak this formally, or we may speak this formally, but to be informal, if you see across all schools and variation in the way of evaluation, you can observe that there is a change, there is a need of changing this, and probably this is the right time. With this new education policy, we have a chance to implement such kind of evaluation methods. So as a COE or deputy COE, in the capacity of that, I'm just recommending to have such kind of propose a standard committee who will draft these all kind of evaluations methods, and those can be implemented in right way. Okay, so this is what example. Okay, so this is pictorial, but try to apply or map it with the actual execution, practical execution. So there has to be a fairness in the evaluation. Next, as I said, that there can be a different assessment that I may recommend. Basically, it includes the considering all overall as well as adequate development of the students or assessment of the student. There are different methods that can be implemented. That open book written test, where if it is an open book, it doesn't mean that it is completely open. Like your student will be able to write it quickly. You should give the question in such a way that the student need to refer the book just for the reference. Okay, there should be some kind of difficulty level in the question that that percentage can be defined by a monitoring committee or maybe a agency schools to school. It is usually there. So what type of level of difficulty of that question has to be. So sometimes even if the open book test is there, student need to apply his logical capabilities. He has to apply his mental capabilities to execute that question. So that kind of open book test, then a unit test, usually people do a closed book unit test. Different standard formats can be proposed by individuals, by school, or maybe a board for executing this. Then class participation is one of the aspects which I will recommend. Participation means not only attendance in the class. Basically, participation is physically or mentally how the student, not only physically, mentally how much the student is participated in the class. It is my kind request to all the teachers, please, you may be doing this, but if not, just monitor your class. When you are teaching, just monitor if each and every student is involved in that or not. And based on that, you can evaluate, you can point out such a student, you can take them separately and do execution. Then apart from this, there is assignment. You can do the home assignment or class assignment, task-based assignment to the students. Then as Kumar sir has raised that verbal oral test. Then there can be a mini or micro level project based assessment. Some project like where the students can show their skill and they can execute. So accordingly, there can be assessment. Comprehensive test assessment where already people are doing in particular specifically for the language kind of subjects or maybe finance, accounts and all, but economics. But in case of the school, there can be some projects, comprehensive content can be worked out, and based on that, the student can be evaluated. Subject wise, there is a flexibility that teacher has a rights to decide his own method of comprehensive test. Multiple choice questioning. Multiple choice questioning is there, which basically gives the clarity, right? Bandwidth to the student. So to answer the question, there has to be bandwidth provided, and based on this bandwidth, the student can answer. So for that, multiple choice questioning can be a little bit part of the evaluation. Then logical complex test, that subject dependent, you can apply for IT kind of subjects. Computer, now in primary secondary schools, the computer IT subjects are there, where you can work out some small source coding, maybe or memory mapping or kind of memory designing. Students nowadays, my children, I'm again coming to my personal example, GB I learned in my BSc, gigabytes, but my children knows now what is GB. He's telling me that 1000 MB means 1 GB in the class of 5th, just because he has a memory types in the syllabus, not even detailed calculation. But with the practical hands-on, they are using more phone, laptop, they used to learn. So that kind of logical complex test, can be implemented such kind of subject like IT and activity-based assessment. There can be many more activities where not only the teachers or the schools are part of it. As a parent at your home, you can give some activities to your children. So as even parents are also stakeholders, you also give some additional activities at home and ask their teacher or mentors to evaluate the assessment. And that can be a part of overall assessment of the student. Then online, offline quizzes, subject based, any other specific test, those can be implemented or you can recommend it to the schools by the stakeholders like parents. So these are the various formative assessment. This is only for the school. If you say for graduate or higher education system, I do have another list of 15-20 additional methods of assessment. So if I get a chance, surely I will share that list. Okay. So this is what basically formative assessment. The next time I'm not going to talk much about qualities. All of you are quite much aware of it. Qualities of the examination. Before I do with this, I will recommend. I will ask to just all the audience to just take a break. I will play one clip. Just see that. I'm sorry, you may have some bandwidth issue, but excuse me. Okay, and when you are going to see this clip, please follow the subtitle, read the subtitle. It is just a sample. It is, you may say, no, superficial, but just an example. I request all the participants just to view this clip. And if any issue happens or with the bandwidth or the quality, I will share the link to you so that you can see it live. So I'm just sharing. I'll start. Hello. So, all of you, I hope you may find this video, some may like it very well. Some may say that it is quite impractical, exaggerated, right? So, consider the basically objective of showing this video is to explain all the qualities of the examination. If you see in the video, if you analyze the type of assessment taken, the type of result generated, the type of treatment of the teacher to the student, the type of intellectual psychology of the student. So all these aspects you can observe in this video. Okay, just analyze here. If the same question can be asked in a different way by the aunt, which is she has not done, probably the question should have been either with multiple choice or maybe other way, like giving some justice while assessing her answer, thinking beyond the limits. If it would have been done, so probably the student would have not done all this stuff. So anyway, this is just for change, the video I played. So all these qualities of the education, that is what basically stress-free examination has to be there. Clarity should be there in the questioning. If you are asking the way how it is to be solved, the clarity has to be there. The effectiveness, bandwidth of your syllabus should be given a justice to unit wise. The weightage has to be there, and effectively the questioning has to be done in that way. Objectivity and subjectivity, both you can understand. If in the same case video which we have streamed here, so in such a case, if that basically worth the weightage, there are some in higher education there is an assessment of the evaluation with the consistency and inconsistency kind of concept. So if it is done, the accountability, one of the quality can be achieved in case of the examination. So in this way, these are the various qualities of examination. Apart from this, let me finally add one example which I observed or I experienced. One of my alumni group on social media, I received one image. I am a part of that alumni group. These are my students, so maybe hopefully my first batch students. Now they are at very good positions in various IT companies and all. So in that group, one day we received one image. In that image, there were two parts. The first part was a picture where there is a bowl with a plain rice, and second part of the picture there was a bowl with a biryani. Okay, and the taglines were, for the plain rice, the tagline was what is taught in the class, and to the second part, to the biryani, the tagline was what is asked in the examination. I analyzed that picture. I thought I have given my thought process to that, and I replied the student with one image where I took a picture of a curd rice, and I wrote a tagline that what is the what you answered in the examination. See, just an example, jokes apart, but we may think on this, we may analyze on this, and we will try to understand all the stakeholders as a teacher, as a management, as a parents, as a student. So this is what about the refinements. Again, I'm telling, with this chance of national education policy which is about to implement. So we all of have a very good chance here to have a very good evaluation system. There are many places where there is a room for improvement in the refinement in the examination. Thanks a lot. With this, I will conclude my session, and I'll answer your queries whenever I'll get a chance. Okay, thanking you everyone for being a part of this session. I request everyone to stay at home, stay safe, and stay. Thank you. I'm very importantly, I'm very much thankful to the organizers, Mayor, Dr. and Dr. Mahesh, for giving a very good kind of chance. Very much efforts you have taken to execute. Even yesterday late night we were working on this, playing the video, and all. So thank you for all your supports, and thank you for giving me chance to present myself on this topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Uh, Now, I would like to introduce the chairperson of this session, Dr. B. Sadashiva Gowda, Principal, Vidyavardhaka College of Engineering. Sir has awarded PhD in Thermal Sciences in the Department of Mechanical. Sorry.
You're audible.
Yes, sir. Department of Mechanical Engineering at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in 1997. After completing PhD in 1997, he worked in RINAC, that is Refrigeration, Insulation and Air Conditioning India Limited, as Product Development Manager for 3 years. Later, he worked as faculty and head of engineering at the American degree program of Taylor's University in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia from 1999 to 2007. He was given Excellence Award in 2004 by Taylor's University for his academic excellence. He has published over 30 papers in conferences and international journals. He is a fellow of Institute of Engineers and a life member of ISHRAE and ISTE. He was the member of Academic Senate VTU from 2013 to 2016. Under his leadership, VVCE got NAC accreditation with A grade, NBA accreditation of all the UG programs and autonomous status. He is a member of Academic Council of many engineering colleges under VTU. On behalf of COE India and SkillSlate, I welcome you, sir, and request you to please make summation of this session. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to Dev Gowda, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Firstly, let me thank the organizers of this 5-day national conference on examination transformation, in particular, Professor Raghavendran Venugopal, Mr. Amiya Agrawal, and Dr. Mahesh Gaikwad. The theme for day 2 was examination refinement in primary and secondary education. As a session chair of today, let me summarize what the distinguished speakers have said since morning, that is since 11 o'clock. The first speaker was Professor Nalini Dwarakanath. She talked in detail on education policies since 1968, with the Kothari Commission, and the salient features of National Education Policy 2020, in particular about primary and secondary education. That is the focus of today's discussion. And she mentioned that, the education system will be 5 + 3 + 3 + 4. That is 5 years, pre-KG, LKG, UKG, and then standard 1 and 2, that is 5. And then 3, 4, 5, that is 3, 5 + 3. And then 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. It is going to replace the.
Sorry to interrupt. I think your video is not on. And if you are sharing the screen.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. I'm not able to. Okay. I'm not.
You are visible now.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. You can.
No problem. No problem. Thank you for that. And she, dealt elaborately on the primary, middle, firstly the foundation, that is 5 years. Then primary is 3 years, middle school is 3 years, and then the secondary is 4 years. Because all of us are new to the new education policy, a lot of discussion is going on that. I think she presented it very well. And she also mentioned that no bag days, where students will not carry bags to schools. Basically, that is meant to inculcate other skills. Then experiential learning is the major outcome of the new education policy, and learning by playing. And also she mentioned that coding will be taught at the 6th standard. In fact, now coding is done at the +2. Now it will move to 6th standard. And in fact, many students learn coding after joining engineering or BSc or BCA. And also she mentioned about the 3-language formula. Of course, the mother tongue is going to play a major role in the foundation phase and of course the primary phase as well. Then coming to the course selection at the secondary level, now it happens at the +2, but it is going to be brought forward by 2 years. That is, the course selection takes place at the 9th standard. So at 9th standard itself, students will have the opportunity to take science, arts, commerce, multidisciplinary, including humanities courses. And that is going to change the education system in our country. And she also mentioned rote learning will be abolished. It is certain that we want to abolish, but I believe that it is very difficult. It's so deep-rooted in our system. It will take a lot of commitment from all the faculty members, teachers, to completely eradicate rote learning. And more application-oriented and inquiry-based system will replace the rote learning. Then coming to the stakeholders, she mentioned there are 3 important stakeholders: the parents, teachers, and the students. Even now also we have but multiple stakeholders, but they are going to be the pillars of new education system. Then coming to the introduction to vocational courses at the 6th standard itself, I think that's the right move by the new education policy, where students, we have seen that dropout is huge. I think that is going to be help, particularly for the students who cannot continue education. They can take up vocational courses. And also, she also mentioned coming to the examination reforms at the foundation level, that is from pre-KG to +2, there would not be any examination, but it will be replaced by continuous and comprehensive evaluation system. But exams are suggested at the 3rd, 5th, 8th at the state level, and at the 10th and the 12th at the national level, so that there will be uniformity across the country. Then exams are to check on knowledge, intelligence, and understanding rather than marks. Right now, we give so much importance to marks, but that will be replaced by this. So basically on the skills. Then she also mentioned that teachers' training will be strengthened significantly. I think that need to happen. It is happening, and it has to happen at a rapid phase. And she mentioned, I would like to recollect the quote. She mentioned that running to school and walking back home. I think that's very important, that students should look forward to go to school every day in the morning. And, they should feel that, oh, I have missed the part of learning, that is learning with joy. I think she discussed all these things elaborately, particularly the new education policy applicable to primary and the secondary education. And the second speaker was Mr. Hemakumar, who passionately spoke about new education policy and some of the salient points he mentioned. He shared the informative statistics. I just recollect the enrollment at the primary level stands at 12.9 crore. Is a big number, a huge number. But if you see at the 11th standard, the enrollment stands at 2.47 crore. It is almost 5 times reduction from first standard or pre-KG. Right now it is first standard. I think he has taken the data for the first standard. And at the 11th standard, it's only 2.47 crore. So in fact, in the new education policy, they want to enhance the gross enrollment ratio from present 28% to 50%. I think this is where we are facing the problem because the reduction is very significant. That's what I could get. And also the number of teachers is phenomenal. So that training the teachers is an Herculean task. The second point was, if you look at that and the teachers and the number of children in the primary school, it is student-teacher ratio is 50:1. And somewhere I saw we should bring it down to 25:1. So it means the recruitment of teachers has to happen in a big way, and also the training, particularly at the primary level. Then coming to the learning outcomes, he mentioned about learning outcomes need to be clearly defined. It means that the stakeholders like parents, teachers, and the students should know what are the learning outcomes from each course, from each program, from each year or semester or trimester, so that they will be able to learn on their own. He also mentioned about self-guided learning, which we should encourage. If you want to encourage that, it is important that the children should know what are the learning outcomes, perhaps from each topic, from each course. It is already there, but need to be emphasized. That was his point. Then assessment and evaluation. He talked at length about assessment and evaluation. He also mentioned assessment is a process in which various tools are used to gather data, and that data will be analyzed to assess the student's performance, and whereas the evaluation is the end result. So in other words, assessment is a continuous process of gathering data and analysis, and whereas the end result is the evaluation, where we decide whether he has got this grade or that grade, based on the performance or based on the assessment methods we use. Of course, there are various assessment tools that are available, which he discussed elaborately, and assessment needs significant transformation. That was his point, because we see that we still lack in assessing the students, because as just now Mr. Sunil also mentioned, we assess with the same kind of tool, not looking at the background of each student, the talent of each student, because each student is unique in this world. So that is not considered in the present assessment method. I think that definitely will help all of us, that he has dealt in depth the assessment method, assessment tools. And also he mentioned about the progress card. And that the one point which I like is, the progress card or the assessment should also involve self-assessment, peer assessment, and teacher assessment. I think that is very holistic. In fact, when you do the faculty appraisal, we'll have the self-assessment by the faculty, then the assessed by the HOD and higher ups. I think if that is introduced in the assessment method, I think students will not say that they should score more marks or less marks, because they also will come to know how to assess others, because peer assessment is also introduced. That is a significant step in the reformation of examination process. And also you mentioned about the education should cover, I would say the assessment should cover the cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains. All the three are very important in the child's holistic development. So I think now we are focusing more on cognitive, not so much on psycho and psychomotor and affective domains. I think we need to give equal weightage for all these things. Then the children who get this kind of education, they will be in a position to survive in any kind of society, in any kind of countries. I think that is very important. That was the takeaway from Professor M. Kumar. Now moving on, we also had Professor Sunil Chaudhary, and he told about there are three important parameters of education, and he distinguished. Okay, you will have slow learners in a class. You also have average learners, and then the fast learners. Because when we teach something, when we assess something, and he has given a very good picture where you have elephant, you have monkey, and fish. We give a common assessment tool to check everyone. We know that it doesn't work, and so sometimes we need to handle slow learners differently. We need to have a different assessment tool. We need to teach them. First of all, we need to teach differently, and then only we can assess. Many a time we use a common teaching methodology for all the learners. And then assessment method is also more or common. So I think even the teaching methodology has to change at the primary level and the secondary level significantly. And then we should be able to identify who are the slow learners, why, how we can cater to them. I think all those things he discussed very beautifully with a lot of examples. And he also mentioned about education transition, that is intellectual, physical, social, emotional, and psychological, which basically come under cognitive, psychomotor, and affective domains. He has mentioned, he classified them further. And also he has given a case study of that. And then he also mentioned about formative assessments, how we can do the formative assessment. That is basically the continuous and comprehensive assessment throughout the year. Basically, you can have open book written test, closed class participation. And he has also given a lot of examples to make his point very clear and understandable to all the participants of this webinar. Then he also mentioned about the qualities of examination, like, stress-free, more clarity. It should be very effective, objective, subjective, accountability. I think assume that we are able to include all these features in our assessment and the examination evaluation process. I think students dropout will significantly reduce. Not only that, children will enjoy the education system. In conclusion, I certainly believe that these sessions have given a lot of information on new education policy, shortcomings in the existing system, transformation required, which is very important. What we need to change, how to change. All those things have been lucidly explained and how it can be achieved. And it is food for thought for all of us to transform the entire gamut of assessment and evaluation process. I think now and then even the present generation students complain about the examination process. I think there is we need to change, and which is very important and pertinent, and it is incorporated in the new education policy. I believe that we should accept, to make changes here and there. Local changes are needed. And this refinement process is continuous. As educators, we must transform the education process, the system that helps the student for voluntary assessments. I believe that students should come forward. Okay, sir, kindly assess me. I'm ready to take any assessment. To that extent, we need to prepare the students. Assume that we prepare the students very well by using effective teaching methodology. I don't think, right now that fear is there, that fear has to go. I think if you implement all the suggestions given by various speakers, it is possible. In my view, foundation stage, that is 0 to 8 years, and primary education are crucial in children's development, because one's character building occurs during that time, because they observe the nature, they observe the surrounding. By observation, they learn a lot. I think during that time, assume that you put the fear of examination. I think we are spoiling the children. The rigid examination system led to rote learning. If you look back, the history, because of our rigid examination system, it led to rote learning, fear of exams, and high dropouts. Instead, we must provide activity-based, skill-based, inquiry-based, application-based, fun-based, outcome-based teaching, learning, assessment process. It will definitely help to create a talented and better workforce, better employment opportunities, better society, a better India, and perhaps a better world. Once again, I immensely thank all the three speakers who spoke very lucidly, elegantly, and the organizing team. I once again thank each one of you and all the participants in this webinar. Over to Professor Mahesh Gaikwad. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Sadashiv Gowda, sir. I'm very much overwhelmed with the way that you have been submitted with the speakers, what they have tried to say, and they have opened up their thought, and you also gave your thought in a way that where the secondary and primary examination refinement should happen. Okay, that it was a very lucid and it was a very, very informative session. I'm pretty sure that YouTube audience and all other social media audience have been accepted the today's session. And I'm pretty sure there are a few questions. In fact, there are a lot of questions, and we are trying to summate a few passages so that it will be helpful to take up at least 4 or 5 questions from where the audience has been asking for. So I request Amay Agarwal that he has already made a collective question so that he could place before the session chair, and session chair might ask any speaker to give views upon the questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Raghavendra sir. I thank all the speakers for their wonderful sharing of the knowledge, Sadashiv sir, Sunil sir, Hema Kumar sir, and Nalini ma'am, for sharing all your exclusive knowledge with us all. The YouTube community is very excited to ask you a lot of questions, and we have collected a set of questions from the audience. which I will be displaying on the screen, and I request all the relevant speakers to please answer those questions. Please allow me a moment to share the screen.
Sir, tell the questions.
Sir, allow me a second. I am sharing the screen. Allow me.
Hello.
He is sharing the PPT of questions where he has made, so that it will be very much eligible for us to understand. Yes,
I
here
hope
it
my
is.
screen is visible. Yes.
Yeah, I think the first was for primary education, chalk and talk or ICT, which is the best way of teaching. Perhaps Nalini madam can answer this question.
Yes, I request all the speakers to turn on their audio and the video. We have some amazing questions here and we would like to have them answered. So first question is from Ashwini Ramesh. Nalini ma'am, over to you. Please, if you can answer this question.
I think she has got some technical issues
Yeah.
from morning. I hope
Can
it
someone
may-
else take up this question, please?
Yeah.
Okay, Nalini ma'am is back. Yes.
Yeah. Now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is okay. Please turn on your video. And the first question is on the screen.
My
From
video,
Ashwini.
okay. The primary education, chalk and talk and ICT both has to be used to the need. You know, it cannot be just only chalk and talk or only ICT. It will be the discretion of the teacher and the subject or the topic to be handled. In short, that would be the answer.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Next question is from Sujit Sethi. What are the challenges faced by the teachers of primary and primary schools in taking the online classes?
The first is the teachers have to be equipped for technology. That is where there will be, it is said that the Anganwadi teachers also will be trained. They will be given first 6 months training. And once they get well in that, they'll be given advanced training of another 6 months, certification courses. And then even the primary teachers will also have to undergo every 6 months certification courses like that, wherein all these things will be taken care of. And they will also become techno savvy. And that is the first challenge, that the teachers have to equip themselves, the technology, and also to transform that technology knowledge to the children. Now, this is a classic example of this pandemic situation. Initially, the teachers also found it difficult, and parents, we could see in the newspaper, the parents pouncing on the teachers with the capacity of the teachers like that. So everybody were caught unawares. And so in such a situation, see, nobody can be blamed. So the first challenge is the technology. And then transforming the information to the children and to convince the children with whatever, virtually, whenever there is online classes. But all that will be taken care of eventually with rigorous training in the teacher education, which is also going to take a major reform.
Thank you so much.
Can I add my concern in addition to this?
Yes. Please.
So with the same question that online teaching, not only teachers as well as students are also facing the problem. Basically, the major issue is with the network, and if the network is there, there is an issue of bandwidth, right? But in this pandemic situation, or maybe even later, we continue for some time this online teaching. The concern is with the, as I already said, network. But apart from that, there is additional responsibilities increased with the parents, that in guidelines as per the guidelines of the teacher, they can conduct some activities at the home. Pre-primary, it is very difficult that the children can sit in front of the system, or maybe a mobile or maybe a laptop. So it is the major concern for pre-primary, I can see, or rather I am observing. So in that case, the more responsibility is now additional responsibilities with the parents to conduct some activities at home as per the guidelines given by the teachers, and accordingly that system can be set with the school teachers and parents all together. That's
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next question. Since most of our speakers, many of our speakers are from South India, they must be very much aware of this. Question is from Balaji. He says Tamil
No,
Nadu has standardized public
I
exams.
think the previous question is skipped. UGC like mechanism for school education
Yeah,
accreditation.
ma'am. We
See,
will
all
take, actually, we have 44 questions, so we'll try to
okay.
take the most relevant questions because I don't think it will be possible to answer
No, but
all the
that accreditation is also very important. As it is, there
Okay.
is accreditation process that is existing. So now with the new system, they will definitely do something to create some kind of accreditation mechanism also, just like UGC. That is already there. It will come also. So that is one thing. And then the next one, Tamil Nadu had 8th standard public exam. It abolished it. GER ratio is 49. What is that? Why?
The
Why
gross
NEP?
enrollment
New
ratio.
Education.
Yeah, no, next one. So why 10?
Why
Why
National
NEP.
Education Policy bringing 5th standard, 8th standard, 10th standard, and 12th standard public exam?
Anybody wants to answer or?
Madam, I think you have answered this question saying that just
Yes.
uniformity and also to understand the students, their
Yeah.
ability to learn.
Yes. See,
Yeah.
8th standard public exam, they abolished it for various reasons. Now that is where the NEP is taking care into account of all these lacunae. Now they have come into a uniform systems, compartmentalized at every level, assessing the students' learning. It is not going to be marks based, but the skill attainment. So that way, the public exam now, the lower level, the state will have to take care. At a higher level, the center will come where the uniformity. Now they are looking at universalization of education. So that is where the 10th and 12th public exam gets valid. So there should not be any issues on that.
I request Amay one last question as we are getting over the time limit.
Okay, sir. Okay.
One last question.
The failing is very important. There's no failures. It's only assessment. Somebody has asked about failures, 5th and 8th.
Yes. We can answer that once.
There will be no failing, but only the grading, attainment, skill attainment.
Okay.
At only the common, yeah.
Yeah, basically to conduct some remedial classes to improve their
Remedial class. Yes,
Right.
exactly.
We will take just one question and I will hand over to Raghavendra sir for the vote. Okay, this is from Prince Gupta. How three languages formula help in the development of the child? Before
The
this
three
policy-
language formula, 1 second, we'll dwell on that. See, the children are capable of learning multi-language within the age of 8 years is what the research has actually proved. 80% of the children are capable of learning just language. We have also practically seen in our homes learning different languages. So whenever, if now the entire thing is going to become globalization. So we are in a way equipping our children to gel with the entire world wherever they want to go across the countries or anything, speaking different languages. Within our own India, when we travel to North India, the South Indian people are really feeling it very difficult to talk in Hindi. Now this three language formula will definitely help. We should give, I think, that kind of autonomy and equip our children to face the world in a better way.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I hand over to Raghavendra sir for the vote of thanks, post which I will be sharing about the feedback link and the other technical details. Over to you, Raghavendra sir.
Thank you, Amay Agarwal. It was a very magnificent day, session 2, which we have been discussed about the very, very key issues of primary and secondary examination refinements. Friends, audience, it is very essential for the day. By large, across pan India, if you look into it, we are all discussing about actively on the higher education. Rather, we have forgotten the flip side of the coin, that is primary and secondary education. Today's session was very, very, very important in such a way that we could able to literally expose, or rather we literally could able to understand the weightage of what actually the primary and secondary education and its assessment can able to give its advantage for the higher education. It's a stepping stone. I do understand about it. I'm very much thankful for all the speakers, Dr. Nalini Dwarkanath, Dr. Hema Kumar from Mandya, and Dr. Sunil Chaudhary from Pune, and Dr. Sadashiva Gowda sir from Mysore. Eminent luminaries eminent, academicians today try to get in a nutshell. I'm pretty sure that 2 hours debate, 2 hours of session may not be, close enough to discuss about the entire primary and secondary education. I'm pretty sure that these kind of sessions will be rolled out in a days together. Friends, we also have a very exciting sessions tomorrow, which is bound to happen. There are 2 topics to be discussed. That is on ICT in examination management. That is on information computer technology. The 2 are present current pandemic situation. The challenge has been rolled out across the entire examinations, not only the one state or not only one district, it's across the pan India, that every controllers, every universities, every registrars, every vice chancellor are just looking upon what's bound to happen, okay, till the final exams has been not taken into it. So we have that into the context, and we also set a role that everyone are talking about new education policy, new education policy, new education policy. We are going to depth on new education policy in terms of examination reformations. People discussed about the academic part of the new education policy, and they're bound to happen by a lot. And this conference is going to discuss about the examination reformations that might definitely going to help out the new education policies. Hopefully, the questions which has been unattended today will definitely going to answered by tomorrow's session. With this, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being very participative. I hope that tomorrow you're going to join us. Thank you once again. I thank all the organizing institutes, MIT-WPU University, RR Institute of Advanced Studies, COE India, Zavi Studios, and SkillSlate India. And I also thank all the academic partners who have been joined us today's session and the study session and coming sessions and all. Thank you once again. I thank digital partner Amay Agarwal, and now over for you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rajavendra sir. Thank you so much, Nalini ma'am. Thank you so much, Sadashiv sir, Hema Kumar sir, Mahesh Gaikwad sir, and Sunil sir for your precious time here. We are very grateful to be associated with this cause, and I thank you all the audience who have joined us from the YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and all other social media platforms, and your continuous support. So we will be sharing the feedback link for the today's session shortly on your email as well as in the YouTube description. Please go through your emails. Make sure you check your spam folders, update folders, and the promotional folders in your email tab and in the YouTube description. Tomorrow we will be starting at 11 a.m. as today, and I hope to have your support, and I hope you will be there soon. Please make sure you are subscribed to the channel and have pressed the bell icon so you don't miss when we begin the session. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait for all these speakers wait for 2 minutes. Let it cut off from the YouTube. Amay, stop again now. Amay, have you stopped it?